Hello and welcome to the morning sports briefing here on Tuesday, the 14th of December. A lot of news for you today. We'll bring you up to speed with the cricket as the Black Caps win the second test. We'll have an update on Roger Federer's injury for the tennis. In golf, after a cancelled day yesterday, the Women's US Open is back in action today with Lydia Ko in that one. Overnight, we've had the Rugby World Cup draw for 2023. And we'll see who New Zealand are up against in that one. There's been America's Cup action as they head towards the Christmas Cup. And Paul Cole also is playing in the Black Ball Open. This is your best way to start the day up to speed with all the important sports news. Hi, I'm Paul, and I'll be your host this morning. Before we get into all of that, we'd like to wish Lara Collins a congratulations. She is the chief executive of the Waka Ama here in New Zealand, but she also has a new position. She has been appointed as the president of the International Va'a Federation. So congratulations to her. The Federation is also known for outrigger canoeing internationally, and obviously it's called Waka Ama here in New Zealand. So congratulations to her on her new position being recognised internationally. Let's talk about that cricket then. And in the cricket, we went through the two test matches in detail last night on the Swinging from the Hip show. So you can catch that one. Myself and Aaron had a chat about both the test matches, plus also the action in the upcoming T20 series against Pakistan, as well as New Zealand Day, West Indies Day, and all the other action. So you check that out either on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter as a video, or you can listen to the podcast. Just head over to your favorite podcatcher, search for New Zealand Sports Radio. Talking about podcasts, and I'm very sorry that yesterday's morning sports briefing was not put out as a podcast because of the quality was just not good enough. But anyway, on to the cricket. And yes, New Zealand won the second test by an innings and 12 runs. The West Indies put up a much better fist of it the second time round, with several batsmen making it into getting 50s. John Campbell, Jason Holder, and Joshua De Silva there. And that was Joshua De Silva's test debut as well. So congratulations to him. But still, it wasn't enough to avoid an innings defeat. The bowlers shared the wickets in the second innings. Southey with 2, Bolt with 3, Jameson with 2, and Wagner with 3. Man of the or player of the match, was Henry Nicholls for his 174 in the first innings for New Zealand, and player of the series was Carl Jameson for his exploits with both the bat and the ball. And you'll hear myself and Aaron discuss about him being whether he is truly an all-rounder or not. If you go back and listen to Swinging from the Hip. New Zealand A managed a similar victory over West Indies A. They won by 101 runs in that one. The West Indies avoided the follow-on, but New Zealand went in and added a quick-fire 174 at over 6 and over in that one. It then was the turn of Rachin Ravindra to spin out the West Indies. He took 6 wickets in the second West Indies innings, with Shane Mosley and Nicholas Pooran, the two to put up some resistance, scoring 54 and 69 respectively. Over in Australia, and the Indians versus Australia A ahead of the test matches over there, but finished as a draw. The Australia A was set a target 473, and they reached 307 for 4 in reply. So of that one at the close of play. So that one was a draw. Ben McDermott and Jack Wildermuth are both undefeated on 107 and 111, they're saving the game for Australia A. Previously, in India's second innings, Bahiri and Pant had scored 104, 103, both not out when setting a target for Australia A. Moving on to the tennis then, and yes, Roger Federer has announced that his injury is not has not been recovered as well as he should have done. He said, look, he should have been 100% by October, but he still is not 100% at the moment, which looks like it's going to be complicated for the Australian Open, and he may not be back in time for that one. But we'll have to wait and see. The delay to the Australian Open of 3 weeks would clearly help provide more time, but we'll have to see whether he'll be back recovered from his right knee surgery or his second right knee surgery in time. He did say, I hope there is still something to see from me next year, but if that was it, that would have been an incredible ending for me at these sports awards. So clearly this might be the end of the line for Roger Federer. He is 39 and trying to come back from that knee surgery. His priority really will be the summer in 2021, so Wimbledon and the Olympics and the US Open. Obviously, but he's still the Australia Open might just arrive too soon. Moving on then into the golf, and the LPGA is live at the moment. Lydia Ko is through the 12th hole on her final round, where she unfortunately has slipped out of contention. She's 5 over par for the round and has slipped back to tied at 13th. It's looking like tough conditions with most of the players over par in this final round. At the moment, Anderson leads the way from the American at 2 under par. Shibuno, the long-time leader, has slipped back to 2 shots back, where Ko and Kim are also with her there. So, 2-shot lead at the moment for Anderson in what is looking like tough conditions for the golfers over there at the Women's US Open. The big news overnight in the rugby was the Rugby World Cup draw for 2023, the men's event. And in Pool A, we will see New Zealand, France, Italy, America's won, and Africa won. Whilst New Zealand tend to meet France in the knockout stages, rather than 2011 was the last time they met actually in the pools. And with Italy, it's the 7th time they've been drawn with Italy. 87, 91, 99, 2003, 2007, and 2019. So regular opponents there in Italy. France, the up-and-coming team in World Rugby, and probably the team that everyone was looking to avoid. So tough draw for New Zealand there. America's one will probably be the USA, and Africa one will probably be in Namibia. Historically, that's who we've seen there. And those two in the other pools, probably the hardest pool is Pool B with South Africa, Ireland, and Scotland, along with Asia Pacific 1 and Europe 2. Wales head Group C with Australia and Fiji. Will join Europe 1 and the final qualifier winner. And then the final group is England, Japan, Argentina, Oceania 1 and Americas 2. So another tough one, depending on how Japan progress over the next couple of years. They also didn't get any rugby this year at international due to COVID, but we'll see how they progress. Obviously, one of the surprise packages at the 2019 Rugby World Cup, making it all the way through to the knockouts as a Tier 2 nation. So, yes, let's see how that one progress. We'll also see in 2023 how that goes. It'll be interesting to see what is the opening game, because the hosts always play the opening game. Will they kick off with France versus the All Blacks, or will it be a different game? We'll have to wait and see how the draw, or how the fixtures are scheduled pans out. Moving on to America's Cup action, and the Christmas Cup is this Thursday through till Sunday, and the teams have been having official practice. The team Ineos UK was paired up with the team New Zealand, but they did, yes, the team Ineos UK struggled and pulled out of both races, of both the practices early. They have been struggling to fix their boat. It was much better for Luna Rosa and American Magic, who both got up and had a proper practice race, with Luna Rosa leading the way in that one. So official practice going ahead now. We did have some cancelled or some where the challengers didn't come out on to the race course. So look, it's light winds that have been hampering things, and hopefully we'll have better conditions for the regatta Thursday through till Sunday. Over in the squash, and it was the first round for Paul Cole at the Black Ball Squash Open, and he came through in style against the Frenchman Victor Corren, 11-5, 11-7, 11-2. Cole said he was looking to come out a bit more aggressive than he has done in the last couple of tournaments. He thought he'd been a bit passive in the early rounds, and he wrapped this one up quickly. This means that he will be facing Egypt's Mostafa Assel in the second round. They had a dramatic quarterfinal at the Egyptian Open recently, where Assel came out on top, where he was challenging lots of the calls, and it was a very emotional game. So it'll be interesting to see how that one goes. That takes place on Wednesday morning New Zealand time. So hopefully, if it's completed in time, we'll bring you the update or the results in tomorrow's The Morning Sports Briefing at 7 a.m. because we come to you at 7 a.m. 7 days a week, folks, with that one. And you have now started the day the best way, up to speed with all of the important sports news. Have a wonderful day, folks. And I say I'll be back tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. with The Morning Sports Briefing.